People, Deluded, I'm back again. Excuse the crossed up shirt. I'm about to go and do a workout in my garden. I mean, why am I going to iron my t-shirt to go in the garden and work out and things? And I had no purpose of making this video. Purpose isn't the right word. I didn't really want to make videos today or whatever, but I felt it should be. So we're here with some deluded thoughts. And before I begin, where's my manners, people? I hope you're all doing well and safe. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Hope you're well and safe. As usual, hope the same can be extended to your family, especially with what's happening in the world at the moment. But we don't need to crack on with that now. Deluded thoughts now. Where do I start? Obviously, like, you lot have seen, couple, you know what, first and foremost, you lot have seen me make some videos with some footballers or youth footballers or whatever in it. So I'd like to say, first and foremost, thank you to every one of these footballers that you've seen on my platform. Thank you very much, obviously, to a lot of the time their family as well, because without getting into it, but one thing that I've said this indirectly before, I say, listen, one thing that shocked me is the amount of footballers or academy players that kind of like the niche I'm doing or like my content, but it's their families as well. Come more time, it was these people's families that was watching my thing, their mums, their dads, their uncles, their cousins, and for a variety of reasons. I'm not going to sit here and lie. They obviously said you're knowledgeable. They said they like the way you tell the youth. They like the way I don't really do this agenda thing, and obviously they said it's nice that you see, a young IC3 trying to make something in it, so they can probably see a reflection of themselves in that, which is probably why they like helping man a bit as well. And that warms my heart, people. Like I said, it's all equal in it. No support is more or less in it, because I can sit and break them down, like the support my friends and close people give me, you the subscribers, like I said, friends and families and players. It can break it all down, but it all shocks me in different ways, innit? It shocked me with their families. It shocked me the amount of players that watch my thing. I had a conversation with a certain agent as well, and he said, you're not aware of the players that watch you, are you? And he wouldn't go into names. And it really got me thinking. It's like, okay, I don't have the biggest resources or the waviest stuff, and it's not the best of products, but it made me think, you don't know, it's not about who's watching, it's about who's watching. Do you get it? And what I mean by that is, obviously it would be nice to have a million, definitely for the AdSense, it'd be lovely to have 1 million views on every video, how much 1,000 views and things like that in it. It would obviously make a difference, but let's just say it's all about who's watching. Let's just say 10 people watch your stuff, but one's a footballer and one's a chairman of a club or something. They like your stuff, they see potential in you that you couldn't see, and you go out and they somehow get into contact with you, or you bump heads and they remember what you're doing. It's a funny world, the way the world works, people. It's a funny world. So I've learned it's about who's watching, because the people that are watching is something sensible. And like I said, I'd like to say thank you to all of these footballers that have been on my show. Charlie Gilmore, players that if I never said your name by the time this video comes out, don't feel any sort of way, but I've got some videos. But Charlie Gilmore, shout out to Charlie Gilmore in general as well, because he was the first player that because I remember before this video thing even became a thing, I was doing the little, every now and again you would see a little article on my website with like a little thing with them, how it is playing for Arsenal and all these things. And I did that with Ben Cottrell. Big up to him as well. Hopefully get him on my YouTube one day, by God's grace. Big up to Charlie Gilmore, because he was the first one really, and he was, I'm not just saying that because I have a clearly decent understanding with him, but it shocked me how my man at the time playing for Arsenal, he's replying, I'm saying, oh, can I send you this? He's saying, go on. Like, it's a thing where, when you said you're going to send someone something and you haven't sent it yet, he's double messaging in a positive way. Like, he's enthusiastic. He's a really cool brother, man. Really cool guy, and I wish him the best, man, because away from this football thing, he's a nice person. And all of them have been, man. The ones I can't mention because the videos aren't out yet, Sam Greenwood, Charlie, Ben, Verone Parks, bare names, man. There's all the vids you've seen me do now at this moment in time. There's been Tariq, Tariq came up. I've known Tariq way before he played for Chelsea. Like I said in that video, I watched him play for his club. Him, Martel, Vachon now at West Ham, I believe, could have left West Ham now, I'm not too sure. Bare of them, man, they used to, when I say that team, they used to bully people in a positive way. Bully people. some of their players were big, some were small, but they were all strong. They're all barging everyone. They could all dribble. They could all score. It was a very good thing. But we're going off topic. What I've learned with this now is to, you have to play whatever cards you've got, people. There's cards I've got. There's cards I've got as a young black man living in London. Do you get it? There's disadvantages clearly because of my race, my class, my connections, etc. But everything is also everything that's a disadvantage is also an advantage because, I haven't got the connections, but what I have got is tenacity. Like, we all did it, let's be honest. Like, back in the days, we'd all it was more Facebook, but we'd all, DM hella gal or Facebook hella gal or whatever. So by that same logic, that same tenacity, I thought to myself, yo, why not just DM footballers? Because people think I got this mad connection with footballers and stuff. Let me just DM them, innit? If I DM 1,000 man, bare man are going to air it. But one man has to say, no, I'm not on it. Cool, fair enough. One man's got to say, oh yeah, I'm down. And that's what it's been. That's what it's been. Just simply DMing and trying to network and things. There's no blueprint to this, people. Literally, and I deeped it one day. I was like, wait, there's Instagram here. Obviously, their DMs are probably mad up. There's probably mad stuff. But me just drop a message. Like, what can they do? They're either going to air it, say no, or say yes. There's 3 variables. If worse comes to worse, I'm just in the same position I am now, where it hasn't got anywhere. I haven't done it with them. Do you get it? So I played on that, people. Obviously, when I said we all get cards, like I said, Tariq, we happen to both be from the same ends in London. His older brother used to play for the same team as me. He used to play for the same team as me. So naturally, try and reach out to him. And it's very other things. You all get it. Your dad might be Ronaldinho's uncle or whatever. Do you get it? Play on that. So there's all cards and benefits we get in it. Every disadvantage has an advantage I've learned in life, depending on how you look at it. And I'd also say, just on the topic of DMing footballers and stuff, you learn a lot. First thing I've learned is, and I'm not going to put anyone in trouble by naming them, I'd say, obviously you get turfed a lot. I've been ignored hella times, but purely I just refuse to. Listen, don't take it personal when they air you in it, because you don't know their reasons for airing you. They might want to do it, they might not be allowed in it. But you got to get over the air. You've got to get over the airing. The sort of, I forgot what I was going to say now. You've got to get over the point of getting aired. One thing I've learned as well is that some footballers want to do it. Like, I've had conversations. There's a lot of footballers that want to do it with me. Some big names as well. Some very good names I would have got for you, but they're not allowed because of media teams or whatever, which I do find a bit subjective, because certain players that play for the same team are able to do it, but you're not. But it is what it is. There's been a couple who have said to me, yo, DJ, I'd love to do it, but the media team said I can't, and that's understandable. I can't expect you to put your career on the line, if not necessarily your career. You don't want to burn bridges and get in issues before you've established yourself. What can I take away from you? And there's a couple like that in the future we'll get to work on. I've also learned as well, you have to be prepared to waste your time. When I said don't take it personal, listen, I'm a prideful man. I grew up in ends. We're if nothing more, we've only got pride in it. I'm a prideful man, of course. But then you've got pride ties into ego. Ego and pride are 2 serious disadvantages. Listen, keep that, because I think it fuels me. But at the same time, you've got to remove it, because do you know how many times I've been ignored? Do you know how many times a player has said, I'll give you an example, I don't want to name drop the player, but I'm going to have to. Ryan Hodder, he used to play for Arsenal now, yeah? And this ain't me saying no malice about him or nothing, this is literally what happened. Like I said, you've got to be prepared to waste your time. Plenty of times I've footballers have said, yeah, they're on it. I said they're on it. I'll take my time, Actually, I like to do my research on these players, ask them questions I want, but also ask them questions, that seem methodic. So I'll do all of that. I like to do I like to do things in a nice way. I believe in credibility. I understand these young footballers or footballers in general. The media is a bit of a dodgy one, or people in general. So I like to reiterate that, I'm not here to... Because I'm sure with a lot of these players that I've done already, I could think of some mad clickbait, ask them some unnecessary questions. I'm not here to make them look bad, make them, get in trouble. I'm here to ask them for their experiences. So I reiterate that. Part of that is also I like to send people the questions I'm going to ask before I've asked them. That way, they can help prepare, because it has happened sometimes, like, oh, no, DG, can you take this out? I don't really want to speak on that. That's fair enough, innit? That's why I do that, getting the credibility. But back to the Ryan Hodder story, there's flip sides to this. There's times you DM a man, they say, yeah, they're on it. Like Ryan Hodder, he said he was on it, done the questions up for him now, done my research, done the questions up. He's someone I really wanted to do it with, because obviously he's not at Arsenal now, but he was 17 on the bench for Arsenal and things like that. Is what it is, innit? He said, yeah, I'm down. Comes to it now, it comes to the day now. And this is another thing, you have to be prepared to waste your time. Things can happen as footballers. There's been videos you've seen, last minute footballers said, no, I can't do it, I got to do this. That's understandable, innit? I've got nothing against that. Apologies for the win. I don't know what that is. Yeah, It's putting me off. Apologies, people. I've got nothing against that, innit? But to paint the picture, he's like, yeah, I'm on it. So I've spent time. I've sent him the email now. I've sent him the questions. He said, yeah, I've looked at it. It's all cool. It's come to the day to go do it now. Yeah, all right, cool. Let's do it. He can't do it. He has to reschedule. Cool. Fair enough. All right. Say nothing, innit? Second time comes now. It comes to the day. He says, yeah. I said, yeah, can you do this time? Can you do this time? Yeah, cool. I've made my day free, and this is where you need to have a backup plan as well, because in the back of my head, when I plan my days, because I plan my structure of my days definitely during lockdown, you have to be prepared for if this flops, how can I, you know, if it's an hour that I've dedicated to speak to this guy and he flops it, what can I do in that hour to make it still worthwhile for myself, innit? So I've, like I said, I've painted the picture, we've set it down now. You know, I'm sitting, this is the same spot I'm sitting in with the laptop. I'm there, you know, schedule free, waiting for him, send the invite like I said I would at a certain time, not joining. Airing the direct messages. Do you get it? Aired it. And after a while, you know, I started doing my own stuff, but I give a man about 20 minutes, you know, stop replying, seeing him tweet and stuff. But that's what it is, innit? You can't take it personal, innit? You really can't. Of course it was annoying. I don't like my time to be wasted, of course. Especially the time I waited sitting for my man, time I waited speaking with him, making man feel probably a bit more important than he should, and things like that. This is all to get content for you guys. And like I said, I've got no malice against him. I think he's a bit of a waste man for that, but I'm sure he had his reasons. He could have... Listen, if it was me, I would at least drop a message, but I can't expect nothing from no one. You know, God forbid, he could have had personal tragedy in his life. You know, he could be going through something. He could have just been busy. He could have just been forgot. There's many reasons in it. Then I looked at it and it's like, you know, if that was me 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I was like 15, I would have been hot-headed, but it is what it is. And that's happened to many a times, people. So you have, if you want to get anywhere, you have to be prepared for your time wasted. Like, don't get it twisted. I do have rules. Like, my rule, it won't make sense, is never to bread. I don't like to make man to bread and make man feel more important than they are. What I mean by that is, and I'm not going to lie, this is something, since I became aware that certain amount of footballers and whatnot, I started to become aware of my stuff. It's like they want you to always stroke their ego. I'm not doing that, innit? I'm not with that. You can do your thing, innit? We've all got one life to live. Yeah, you might be a footballer, you might be, you know, if you play your cards right, can earn riches, can join that, you know, the upper class of people, but you're not better or less than anyone in it. So I don't like to make man feel, beyond making you feel, listen, I like to make people feel valued. I don't like to make man to feel like they're mad important to me and stuff like that, because it's disposable. It is what it is. And with the Ryan Hoddart thing, it's value in it, because at the end of the day, he might not be a professional footballer like that, but he's a pro footballer. He's Ryan Hoddart. That's his value in it. My value is I'm going to seek his value. He didn't want to do it. Didn't want to do it. Another one, Keno Marsh Brown, like, meant to do it with him, would love to do it with him. I had to cancel because something popped up, didn't reply. Fair enough, he might have felt like I wasted his time. Did you get it? That's fair enough. There's a couple of ones as well, you have to persist with certain footballers as well, but you have to find a balance. It's like the balance between bugging man and trying to nudge them to get things done. I'd say the media teams is what's annoying, because some man got to get their stuff sanctioned by people. Sometimes the media team, or allegedly are saying no, footballers are saying their media team, certain men have said their media team says no, innit? I've got to take their word for it. I've got to take, you know, man are being honest. Guys could be wassing, but why would they wass? So these are the things I've learnt, people, and I've also learnt, like, don't get it twisted. In the ideal world, I'd love to coach and scout. Like, if someone said to me, yo, academy, under 18s, come be a coach or scout, full-time, part-time, that's me, innit? I wouldn't mind being an agent. I wouldn't mind doing a lot of things. I wouldn't mind, you know, this YouTube media pundit, commentator, something in it. I just want to be in football, and it all interlaps. You can do it all. And I've had to ask myself a lot of that, people. Like I've had to ask myself a lot. Like, is the youth thing my lane, or is it something I should progress in? Because I look at Rapman, for example. Like, don't get it twisted. Rapman's a talented artist. He's a talented rapper. You see all the stories. He's one of the best, if not the best, storyteller within that sort of section and scene, innit? And you know, he's doing things with Jay-Z. He's got movies coming out and things. But, and again, I don't know man's life like that. But he was a rapper. He was an artist. If he pursued just the rap thing, would he necessarily, I'm sure he could earn a career, I'm sure he could be a good artist because he's not bad, but would he be the best? Would he be as much of a hallmark as he is now? And then things happen for a reason. He kind of started out with rap and doing the stories, rap in general. He started going down the story lane and focusing more on the stories and focusing more on other things. So I think that with myself, it's like, YouTube, listen, my story might not be where, you know, you get 1 million subscribers, you do this, you do that. It might be cool. Indirectly, you're doing this youth thing. Someone might, like, I would love Arsenal. Like, Arsenal see me do it with a couple of players. Why not have man doing it for you, man, officially? That would be lovely. But the cookie doesn't crumble. That's actually one for another story. If I was to speak about the football clubs that I could have worked for, there's the stations that have sucked opportunities away. A chance to be on a big YouTuber's platform and it was sucked away actually by my manager. There's a couple of L's man's taking people. But back to this, I always think like, is this something more I should focus on? Interviewing young players with young players and things. Cause I like speaking to them because I genuinely like youth talent and like to hear about, you know, what you'll find themes in my interviews, you know, I'm sure. Like I ask about scholars, I ask about the psychological stuff, I ask about the difference they felt training and playing full time and stuff like that. These are questions I genuinely want to ask. Every player you see me do one with is because I've genuinely wanted to do it with. It hasn't just been for the sake of it. Of course I would love to do Rio Ferdinand, Thierry Henry and all of these guys. But you get, I will think to myself, is this something I should do more? Is this something I could do more? Because I read the comments, you lot gas me. Why do you think I was dropping? I could have withheld and dropped like one a day, but there was last week or this week or whenever I dropped like 2 in one day and then one the next day sort of thing, people, and then one the next day. Cause you lot gassed me, and I what's the point holding off for it? Because listen, I've got a couple more videos like that, but I think to myself, on one hand, I've got to make you wait, cause I want you lot to take in the other ones and stuff. On the other hand, you know, you don't want to give too much, but on the other hand I think, why am I holding this off? Like even some video, I'm not going to say the name of the player, there's one that I really, listen, if you can watch my videos indirectly, there's a player I really always praise and things like that, so you would understand. But I thought to myself, why am I holding this off? Am I holding off these videos because I'm scared that I can't, or I'm fearful that there'll be a drought? Because there will be a drought. Like you're seeing, and I've got a couple more, there's a good steady amount of videos and some planned with these young players, but there's going to become a drought. Am I scared of that? So why not just drop them and challenge myself again? Do you get? And I've had to challenge myself, and it's not a I think most importantly, it's not a competition. You can't look left, you can't look right. Like if I was to look at there's a couple platforms, I'm not going to name drop any, but there's a couple platforms I think are doing similar content to me. Not that it's beef or anything, because they're doing great work. I don't believe in competition. Everyone can do the same thing, sort of thing. But it's like if I was to look at my man and say, oh, why haven't I got there? Or why haven't I got this? Why haven't I got this? Why have I got that? But he's got this. Comparison's the thief of joy. Comparison takes you away from your own message. It screams what's the word? It screams that you don't have confidence in yourself. I can't remember the word off the top of my head. Like you're insecure. Sorry. And everybody's journey is different. Like you can't look left, you can't look right. Like when I do look left and right, I get inspired. I say, oh, my man's did it with my man. Why can't I do something of that level? Or my man's from this place, but he's not doing that. Oh, getting gas. People hate on things for no reason. I get inspired by it, but generally, I'm just focused on Deluded's mission. Courtney's my name, obviously, my mission, innit? This is all like my life. I don't know where it's gonna take me. I ain't got no blueprint, but I'm hoping that if I keep pursuing what I love doing, keep pursuing the qualifications that I want, keep pursuing the skills I want, keep ultimately trying to be the man of the future I want to be, then ultimately everything will fall into place. And that's genuinely all I believe that can happen, people. Because yeah, and I do think you've got to be honest with yourself. You have to be really honest with yourself in a positive way. Like in a positive way, I don't think anybody rates me. I know you lot rate me, I know I get love, but when I look at it, it's the numbers. The numbers aren't big enough. Like, don't get it twisted. Like I said, it's about who's watching, this quality over quantity, but the numbers ain't big enough. There's like, not to put my manager in this or my ex-manager, not to put him in this, but I work for a production company, like you lot know, innit? And obviously there's bigger YouTubers, there's things, and I'm irrelevant to it, but it's almost like they didn't really know how big I was until they, you know, guests are coming in to speak with them and meet with them about projects, and they're like, oh, Deluded, you're Deluded, and like people are noticing, man, and they're taking it seriously. And obviously people say, this is why I always say words don't mean anything. I'm not trying to put man into nothing, but every now and again he would come and kind of arouse my imagination. He's like, oh no, we're gonna help you do this with the tactics because you can do this, or you know, you should be doing branding, we're gonna do this, or clothing, we're gonna do this, next week we'll do this, and it would never come. Maybe, listen, maybe, and that's just not taking me seriously enough, not rating me enough. And why is that? Because the numbers aren't big enough for me to be my man's priority. Do you get it, people? People are busy guys, and it's just not a priority for him. If I was a priority, a real money maker for him, it would be different. And I've realised that it's never personal, it's just business sort of thing. And I've had to use that as motivation sort of thing, and whatnot. Because every now and again, when I make some progress, the same manager hollers me and stuff. I'm like, yeah, cool, yeah, alright. And if I'm honest, I could probably get hell of a lot of help by siding with them and allowing it, people. But it's like, I like help. You can't refuse help, but it's like I'm following my guts in it. And I don't really like people saying they can. There's a difference between help, but I don't really like people saying they can do this and do that and do this and that. Like for instance, Zoom calls. People saying they can help me with Zoom calls and help with the editing and the recordings and stuff, which is all right, fine. But what happens when I say me and this footballer agree with yeah, we're going to do this at 11 a.m, sorry. My man says, no, I can't do it, blah, blah, blah. That's the next man that I have to be, or next man or woman that I have to be factoring in for no reason, where I could just do this thing, do you get it? No delays. And you need help. I would not have been able to contact certain footballers without certain people's help. I would not have been able to access games in the way I can go into them without certain people's help. I wouldn't keep going if it wasn't for you lot. People along my journey have, come seen what I'm doing and help, man. So I'm not saying it's a thing like that. But you have to just do this thing alone. It makes it easier, people. You just have to be honest with yourself, really and truly. And you just have to realise, and especially with the manager situation, I have to realise, do you actually like man, or do you like what I could potentially do for you tomorrow? Because looking at his track record, he has helped a lot of emerging stars. But do you genuinely like me, or do you genuinely like what I'm doing? Because you like man when it's the flavour thing. Like, and I'm the sort of man. Bro, there's a squirrel moving, man. I don't like to remind people of stuff, innit? Like, I remember everything. Like, if you say do this, do that, and you don't do it, I won't. I used to want to pursue that and stuff, but it's long, innit, people? It's long. You might as well just do your own thing, really and truly. So I won't remind you. If you do it, you do it. If not, if you don't do it, it's like you have to be prepared to get anywhere. And what I've learned is you have to be prepared to have your time wasted. I find it funny now, people. If somebody errs, I'll give you an example now as well, people. So a mate of mine is a scout, yeah, and me and him, we're trying to indirectly start talks with a certain club about a partnership, in it, people. Some sort of partnership like that would help them, especially they're not in London. Get the London players, it's all Sanjo, all these things are the hype. Weren't hearing it. We would have been the middlemen, because long story short, the partnership he established is costing them a fortune. When we knew them that we're trying to start this with, we knew the people they wished to reach out to. Blared us off, blanked us off. Alright, cool, do your thing. Now you're paying money you didn't have to spend, which is cool. It is what it is. The tables always turn, sort of thing. And I can't. Lastly, I want to touch on listening to your gut, because at times I never used to listen to my gut, and I listen to it now. When I came into this thing, like, obviously I come in this on not a rude boy thing, but like a guy from ends in it. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. In my professional life as well. Like, I'm sure you've all seen me, be on True Geordie's thing, giving out crisp and them things, and certain people taking the piss out of man for that. That hasn't been the only thing I used to do on True Geordie's thing, because the company I used to work for and them, they've kind of gone two separate ways, but the maintenance is still the same. I used to be a production assistant, so helping writing up the show, setting up equipment, booking tickets and making sure guests come in, all of these things as well as that, innit. The rude boy in me before would have said, no, I'm not doing that. I would genuinely have quit the job on that day, innit. But then I thought, you know what, man's not going to grow as a person doing that. But I might not want to do this. It might become a bit humiliating, which it didn't feel humiliating. Obviously, I'm not saying do anything you feel is degrading. But I felt, because I've always turned these things down in my life. Let me not listen to my ego. Let me do this, innit. So I did that, and I was able to establish certain connections. And I wouldn't have, just from being in a room, not even people you see on the show, just from being in the room, which wouldn't have happened if I came on this rude boy thing, which wasn't getting me it wasn't getting me nowhere in life, because my life was different before YouTube. It wasn't getting me nowhere. I thought, you know what, let me change my attitude a bit, innit. Let me keep certain things. And I came into this YouTube thing, especially collabs is always the touchy subject, man, because people promise stuff, people say things. I don't chase no one down with these other YouTubers, innit. If you see me with them, you see me with them. I came into this thing thinking collaboration wins, because I genuinely think that. But everyone's in competition. Everybody's on some snarky thing. Everybody moves a bit weird. So I thought, alright, cool. You know what? These men are, they're a bit deceitful. They have ulterior motives. It's like people on the roads, people in the streets, people in ends. Like, it's almost the same dynamic, innit? So once I clocked that, I took a step away and I started listening to my gut a bit more. Like, the other day someone DM'd me, and it's quite a big platform as well, people. 100 odd subscribers, good, decent platform. I like the guy. I got nothing against him personally, but the aura just didn't set well. Because when I look at the videos, it's all controversy, it's all palaver and that. His aura is, again, you can't test it. I'm gonna not personal, because I might meet him one day and completely change, and that's the way the world is. And someone might be saying this about me, but my aura just didn't take to it. My gut just didn't take to it. I was like, nah, I'm not finna do that sort of thing. Do you get it? So you got to listen to your gut, man. I'd say listen to your gut hell of a lot, man. Your gut will save you. Your gut is one of the only things that will save you, because it will save you from a lot of pasta, man. Because it's YouTube thing is weird, like, that's why I don't really like friending up and being in these spaces and all this stuff, because a bunch of them are insecure weirdos. Like, we've all got insecurities in life, but it's a madness, people, and it is what it is. But in short, all I'd say is be prepared to have your time wasted in anything. Like, I'm not saying don't value your time, but don't get upset in that, you've told, my man said this, he said that, and he didn't follow through. People are gonna not follow through. purely because they're gonna flop, they've got other priorities, or you're just not important to them. And the flip side of that, there's people that shout me about stuff in that area, and I might take long to reply and all these things because it's not the most of important things to me. And I always think if I'm doing that, it's all levels, because I'm doing that to someone indirectly or directly, subconsciously or subconsciously. I can't get mad about next man doing that to me. Do you get? It's the game. But the tables always flip, and the tables have flipped already. Like, I'll give you another example. I reached out to this certain platform, innit? Certain platform, when I first started, because I knew, you know, no one sees your potential but you, innit? I knew who I was before that. Blank me, gave me every other reason not to. Said, cool, F it. Done what I'm doing. A couple of years later, like, pardon my language, like, in fact, I'm trying to pardon my language, bum suck, like, just up my arse in my DMs, like, yeah, this, that, let's do that, can you retweet this? I said, no, I can't do nothing for you. Like, I don't want to do nothing with you. I can't do nothing for you. You know, maybe if I was of a different makeup, I would have said, yeah, cool, and gone in it and grabbed couple thousand, or maybe even 10,000 subscribers. I said, you know, nah, man, you didn't. Like I said, there's a difference between not rating, man, but it's the way you made man feel, the way you aired, man. Nah, man, like, it's a fickle thing. Like, you're moving like the groupies and that the rappers talk about, like that, man. The tables always flip, and the tables can always flip on you. That's why I don't try to diss people, because I might diss, someone might be reaching out to man, I'm dissing him, but you know, 10 years from now, he becomes head of development or head of this or head of that, and he remembers that I did it to him, because this is what I remember that, and I know there's people bad man out there. And this ain't me being bad, man. This is just me remembering these things, innit? So it is what it is in that regards, people. That's all I wanted to say in relation to deluded thoughts. I've got nothing more to add, people. DG, I'm out.